for Muppin Sewing Emporium. I am live to you through the power of the internet uh, from beautiful downtown Paducah, Kentucky. And we are very excited as it is our holiday open house weekend. So, um, if you are coming to the store on Saturday, that would be November 9th, which is tomorrow, we will be closed until 4 p.m. and we will be open from 4 to 6 only on Saturday. And then we will be open special hours on on Sunday. So this is our open house weekend. It's all of the downtown Paducah. So I encourage you to come on out. We're very excited. We've got lots going on. We have a lot of things in store on sale. And you can find everything that is currently in our open house blowout on our website on the sale page. We have a lot of things that are marked down all the way down 35%, because we need to make room for new stuff. Yes, that's right. We will have new stuff. And we have new stuff now in the store right now as well. So please give our website a look-see, because those blowout deals are not going to last long. There's not a whole lot of them. And we need the room because we have new things coming in all month long. And I'm very excited because we are getting ready for our Black Friday sale. And can I just say, have you noticed that Black Friday everywhere is just getting earlier and earlier and earlier? Well, I see that too. We are going to run our Black Friday sale just a smidge early. But that's so that you can all participate and get in there early. If you're out there and you can hear me, give me a thumbs up. Let me know that that's working. And yeah, I have been working really hard on some new patterns that are going to launch Black Friday week. So you're going to want to stay tuned for that. In the meantime, don't forget, we've got this huge sale going on right now. Okay, so we are back with the chicken scratch chicken, and I have to say, this is actually a hilarious project. I have also done a little more research on some of these techniques, and I have some new things to, I guess, discuss. So as you may recall, we have finished we have finished this little egg, and now we are ready to move over to do the other parts of said chicken. And can I just say how funny this is that this got a chicken, this got an egg? I mean, like, come on. It would be different if the egg was down here, right? But no, it has to be like it just looks like it's going straight out. I also would love for you to admire my press-on nails today. They're very gorgeous. I'm very happy with them. As I always say, these are Olive and June press-on nails, $10, both Target and Walmart. Not sponsored, by the way. Would love for y'all to sponsor me, Olive and June. But look at how cute those are today. So These are part of their holiday collection. Anyway, so I have learned a little more about doing chicken scratch, and I feel like I have a pretty good idea of what has to happen next, but um I've also learned some additional, I guess you would call them techniques. um this has been a very interesting thing to learn. Essentially these little they almost look like, do you all remember like the popsicle stick God's eye things that you would make at Vacation Bible School? Mary, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Yes, they are. They're very cute, aren't they? They've got little bows on them, like little Christmas presents. Aren't they sweet? So I'm just rather amused by the chicken scratch, but that's what they remind me of, is like the little God's eye with the popsicle sticks, the way you weave the thread around the four pieces. I mean, that's kind of what it reminds me of, are those types of God's eye popsicle stick, you know. Um you know what I mean. Yes, the nails are very fancy. So we have been prepping to do a, a photo shoot here. Um, we have a photo shoot that is about to be. Now, where is the other piece? There's like one piece of brown thread that I have already lost, if you can believe it. Like, it's like, this is the only spot where all of this lives. So but anyway, we're doing a photo shoot, and I'm teaching a class tomorrow, which is why the store isn't open, but we will be open in the afternoon. And I just thought, if I'm going to go teach and I'm going to do all the things, I might as well do it with some fancy nails. And um, usually, photo shoot stuff means that we're taking pictures for one of our patterns. And so that is the plan, that we'll be taking pictures for one of the patterns, and that always requires fancy nails. So that's how it works. All right, so we're loading up here the brown thread. Now, I will say, I don't know if this thread was originally orange and is just sort of um degraded to be brown, but the picture clearly shows orange, and this is not orange. Okay, it is not the same color. So if you're wondering, that's why. Okay, so as you remember, this was a full kit from the 1970s, and it came with everything in the kit except for the stuffing, and um, it did come with all of the thread in here. We did replace the needle with one of our needles, which just goes to show you that our needles are very good for this type of thing. Um, and essentially, this is like a counted cross stitch. Okay, so you have here, like, they tell you where to start so that you have a starting place, and then you just count and do the things, and they tell you to refer to the picture, the color picture, a lot. I will say this probably would be one of those things where back then, a color piece of directions probably would have been really expensive. This is essentially just like a legal sheet of paper, uh, folded in half. And this part here probably cost the most out of the whole kit. So it came with everything except the hoop. And so, but nothing is as funny as the egg that comes out of the chicken's butt. So I'm just going to say. All right. So we are essentially done with that egg. And we are now moving on to essentially the body of the chicken. And um so there were really strong directions in this about how to do this particular stitch, which they call a double cross. Okay, so there's essentially a double cross, a running stitch, and a weave, and that's it. So I have since learned there are a couple other stitches that you can do. I don't know that I will do them on this, but I am interested in trying them. So somewhere on this piece, we're going to try the other stitches that I learned. So so this is, a north, south, east, west kind of thing. So you make your X, and then you go north and south, and west to east. And the cool thing is, because this is done on gingham, your all your marks are essentially here. You don't have to do anything other than make the make the stitches where you're supposed to. And what I found out, essentially by looking at the picture, the reason it fills in so nicely is because you are putting the stitches only in the white sections of the gingham. So that's the trick here. It looks complicated at first, right? Because you're like, oh my gosh, I don't even know where to start with that. And what they do here is sort of give you like where you should take certain stitches. And once you realize on this page, you see that they're only in almost all in the white blocks, except for these X's, which I will talk about here in a moment. So they're pretty straightforward. And I think like the hardest thing is that they can seem a little like it's hard sometimes to see where the edge of the block stops on a such a flimsy fabric. Like you can see my fingers underneath there. This is very thin. So it's very, very doesn't have a lot of heft to it. So it's like when you're holding it up, it's almost like, see how you can see through it? You can see my hand back there. It's almost hard to see where your stitch should be. So you're going to want to work in a place where that has like really good light, or just work on essentially a darker gingham. I do think this would be really, really cute on a red gingham, like a like the tablecloth gingham, red tablecloth. I think that would be really cute. And then, you have the other colors. I mean, you can just do whatever, with these colors. So you don't have to work on yellow, I guess is what I'm saying. But it is hard to see the edges of this gingham because it's very light colored. Okay, so we've got the two right here. And now we need to go like over and up. And we've got 4 in a row there. So we're going over and up, and that's right there. So it's essentially counted cross stitch. So a lot of people there's a couple of quilters who are kind of getting into making quilt blocks with embroidery. And so I'm certainly not the first one to put different kinds of things into my quilts. Obviously people have been putting different things in their quilts for as long as they've been making quilts, right? So, but some of the quilts that you may see out there that are on that different edge of things, like mine, would be people who do embroidery blocks and then put them into a quilt, people who do cross stitch blocks and put those into a quilt, and people who do the stuff like I do, where I take smocking and other fabric manipulation techniques and put them into quilts. And yes, there are people out there who are putting chicken scratch embroidery in their quilts, and I'm here for it. I love it. I especially, because a lot of us get a gingham and we don't know what to do with it. It's just so, country tablecloth looking that we're a little like, bored with it. And this is definitely a way to, decorate or improve on those kinds of blocks. So this is a pretty neat little project. The stitches are not hard, okay, because you're really just making like 2 X's, right? You're doing this one, which is very reminiscent of cross stitch, right? Your big X. Oh, and see, even I do it. I do this on national television too. Okay, I get that little knot in the thread. So you just want to sort of work that out before you go any further, because you certainly aren't going to be able to pop it through the fabric. So you gotta, there we go. See, I do it too. I know you're like, oh my gosh, even like somebody who does this for a living. Yep, even us. Thread nests, thread boogers, as some people call them, they all happen to everybody. So don't feel bad. Just do what you can to rip them out. So, right. So you do like just a standard cross for, like you're doing for cross stitch, big X there. See if we can get that to come into focus better. And then you do north, south, east, west. And the idea is that you get these laid in a particular way because you want them all to have that same, the way that the stitches are done, you want them to be, you just want them to match, okay? Not that anybody is going to get up in here, okay? Because that's, let me tell you, all right? If any of your friends comes up and goes, Cheryl, I could see right there where you went over under instead of under over, I just say, I unfriend you. I unfriend you. Okay, because you are not my friend if you are looking at my work that close. Okay, ain't nobody asked you, right? So I don't say nothing about your work and you won't say nothing about mine, right? All right, so now that I'm looking at this, I'm feeling a little nervous because this chicken, I did the 2. Okay, see, I don't think I counted wrong. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I don't think there are 8 to the top there. There's wait a minute. This ain't right. Thank you, Mary. I appreciate you. Oh man, did I do this wrong? I think I did. Okay. So it said 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, if you remember last week when I did this, okay, go back to A and count down 35 boxes to C. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12. Oh, I think I am short. 14, 16, 18, 20. Yeah. Wow. All right. So this is what happens when Cheryl does half-asses the directions, I guess. Look, right? I have to give myself permission to learn. I have to give myself the permission and the grace to learn, right? I can't sit here and be like super angry about this because I'm a beginner. And how do I know, right? Like I'm supposed to I'm a learner and this is a learning moment. I think it's funny. Cuz last week I was so like, oh, we're not going to really follow these directions. And then like here I am, right? With not enough room in the project. Okay. So for those of you that are like, what are you talking about, Cheryl? If you look, here's the drawing, okay, and it is pretty close to scale. I did not give I am short about 10 rows here at the top. So if we were to see, like, if that's the egg, see how much off the edge here I'm going to be. So we're gonna do something. We're gonna have to do this the other side, and I'm going to have to abandon side number 1. I mean, it's not a terrible thing, right? Let's see what we can do here. Okay. All right. So we're just flipping. So this is supposed to be enough to make this pillow. But obviously, what I'm going to need to do is count this properly. So I'm actually going to start my corner like way down here so that I feel like I have enough room. And then okay, so here's where the counting, right? So what I did is I was off by 10. So we're going to go 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is going to be right there. Okay, so that is the new space. And as you can see, I'm just making a line there, and then we have to do the same thing in the other direction. This is well, this is par for the course, given how, look, y'all, I know this has been a hard week. Okay, look, I get it, but this week has just, all it says is we just have to pull yourselves together. And that's what I'm doing here, right? I'm pulling myself together. You just got to pull yourself together. So that's what we're doing. We're pulling ourselves together. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. I'm just going to make a mark for every 10. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. There's another 10. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. That's 30. We need 55 here. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 is 40. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 is 50. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so now we know where the bottom row is, and there we go. We just got to pull ourselves together. Just got to regroup. And honestly, and soldier on. We're going to just soldier on. Okay. Yeah, that was very interesting. Okay, so thanks. Luckily, I caught it when I had done just this much. Okay. If I had done like up to here and then realized I didn't have enough for the top, man, I would be really upset. You know? So I consider myself lucky that I caught this mistake now. Right? I think so too. All right. So we're back to starting over. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So here is the bottom of the egg. Lord, hear my prayer. Mistakes happen, y'all. You know, it's just part of life, part of sewing is doing that. And you know, not proud of it, but we're gonna do what needs to be done, and that's gonna make me a better sewist, you know. So we're back to the egg. Now, honestly, there's a couple of different ways. Oh, I should put the hoop back on. Lord. You know, My grandmother used to say, if it was a snake, it would have bit me. That was one of her famous lines. Grandma had a lot of famous lines, but if it was a snake, it would have bit me. Um, that was the, you've it's right in front of your face, kind of thing. It's like it's right there. Oh well, if it was a snake, it would have bit me. Was her one of her famous lines. Did your family have a famous line? Um, Something that people said when there was something that you needed to look for, and it was right there in front of your face? Because that was hers. That was, if it was a snake, it would have bit me. Um, yeah. But this is that, those moments where we figure out how this is all coming together. But yeah, thanks for the life lesson there. Little, I mean, I think I got this thing at a rummage sale that our quilt guild put on. And if you can, the package says I paid 50 cents for it. So I paid 50 cents for this project. And it was cool because I was like, oh man, I've always wanted to do chicken scratch embroidery. I didn't realize how simple it is. I guess when you look at it, it looks more complex. There's obviously definitely, oh, I already messed it up. See? That's what I get for not paying attention. So when you're this far in, all you have to do is just use the back of your needle and back it out. Lord. Is it that I'm just not supposed to be doing this today? Right? Is that like what the universe is trying to tell me? The universe is like, yo, perhaps you should be working on something else. I think so. When you make this many mistakes, good grief. I tell ya. All right. So we are back now. We're back on making the chicken egg. All right, because you can say which came first in chicken scratch embroidery, the chicken or the egg. And in this case, it's the egg. So, oh goodness. Okay, so now we have soldiered on to the correct location for that stitch. I mean, I do think that there's a point at which it's like, when you feel there is a point, I feel like everybody has this like go no go point. Especially when you're working on something like this. And if you keep making mistakes, like it might be time to put it down. And I kind of felt like that's where that was. We were about to say, like, perhaps today's not the day you should be doing this. And look, I get it. This week has been really, really hard on a lot of people. It may feel like you don't want to work on anything. It may feel like, there's not a lot of joy feelings going on right now. I get it. I feel like we're going into the holidays and, you gotta try to enjoy some of that. We have, this holiday open house this week, and Um, I think our big weekend is this is tomorrow's project, right? Like this is yeah. Like of all the mistakes I've already made, yeah, I think so, right? But no, I think we're good, you know. But it's one of those it's hard to get your what people call their sojo, right? It's like their mojo, but it's for sewing. You got to get your sojo back. And I know that that's hard sometimes. If you haven't worked in a while or you're just looking at the state of everything and you think, "Oh my gosh, like the last thing I need to be doing right now is piddling around in my sewing room." But sometimes to me, that's the things that make me feel the happiest. And so that's where, I try to do a lot of that work and um, try to do what I can to make myself happy, right? Because that's what it's about. So, these little starburst double crosses, as they're called, um, you know. Oh, Chris, good point. I mean, you're making me want to cross stitch again. I it's not a bad idea. I mean, it does feel very cross stitch like. And honestly, if you are the kind of person who can do counted cross stitch well, this may be something for you. Personally, I was not a counted cross stitch fan. I just really wanted to like color by numbers essentially. Um I did not expect that cross stitch was I just felt like there was so much math involved, right? And I do understand that a lot of people look at these charts, right? And they just see like gobbledygook, right? And that part I understand, right? If you had dragged me like in off the street and um you plopped this set of directions down in front of me and said figure it out, I would be like okay. I don't know that I would have like these directions are pretty light. Okay, there's nothing, it's really hard sometimes to just look at text and say, but how does this become that? Okay, there's a lot of people don't have that brain, right? They're like, this is fine, I understand, but then when I go to do it, I don't understand. That I get, right? Embroidery, cross stitch, they're kind of all like this. And um especially to me, some of those embroidery stitches, the especially the like the real fancy embroidery stitches, they while they are lovely, sometimes they are just um they're just like the directions and how to make them really don't go hand in hand. It does look like computer code, right? Doesn't it remind you of those old dot matrix? Remember when people would make pictures out of dot matrix printing, you know? And so you had like a face or something. As a matter of fact, it's funny. In my husband's baby pictures, he has um, a picture of himself printed out from a computer, and it's all like ones and zeros that make up the picture. It's really funny. which I thought was cool though that he has that. So, all right. So now, I am going to fill in the egg to remind myself how to do these stitches. Okay, so I am just going to take a moment and do that. Normally, I would just continue with all of the brown thread, but because we had to start over, I'm going to go back and I'm going to make them. So we've got here the white thread, and then these are going to be the other stitches that are part of this code, as Chris mentioned. Okay, so we've got these lines that come right to the edge of that white block. Okay, these are the running stitches they were talking about. So they are a stitch that essentially crosses the whole of the plus there, okay, and it makes a plus shape. And then what you do is you come back and fill in the weave, okay. And then these X's are essentially a double cross, even though it's just a single X. What's not on this chart, and this was something I was saying last week, what's not on this chart is a code for which of these means which color. That's the only thing that's missing. And if I weren't like using that part of my brain, I wouldn't have figured that out. Okay, but these starburst ones are brown. The X's are the same stitch in white. And they had to differentiate that. But there's no like legend, or isn't that like a map thing? There's no legend on that to tell you that that's what that is. So that's just a sad failure of you know, of my my process here. So I've got these two. Yes, legend. Yeah, like a map legend. You know, where they tell you like how many miles are in an inch and what symbols mean. That's what they need here, is what the symbols mean. So yeah, that's what's missing here. Oh well. And they did say in the directions that you should do all of the running stitches that go in one direction first and then go back and do the other direction. So in this one, we're doing the north-south stitch first. And then I'm going to come over here and do the east-west. And essentially, we're making these pluses so that we can do the weave that goes in between these 4 posts. Essentially, they're like 4 posts. So, but this is on me. This was this was my problem, not anybody else's. For counting on the previous version. Okay, so what they say is you come up right next to the north pole there, and then you weave all the way around clockwise. And you go back in under that north pole and then back down right where you came up. And they call that the weave. And I think that that's very much like those popsicle God's eyes. So that's essentially what you're making. And so again, you just come up right next to the north uh, version of the pole there, and then you go under, and you go under all four, and don't pull tight. Okay, you kind of want that, you don't want this to be pulled. You want to just keep it there like nice and loose, and then go back down under, and then you're back. And then we're going to do the north south, or we're going to do another what am I calling this again? We're doing a double cross here in these two sections. So we're doing that the same way that we did the brown ones. And I think what's really key about this embroidery is to not pull your thread too hard. If you pull the thread too hard, you end up sort of pinching all those sections together, and I don't think that's what we're looking to do here. But you do want to go in the same order, you know, that we were showing before. And that's because, you just want all of the stitches to feel and look the same, um, for that close-up inspection, I guess. Like I said, I don't let people get that close to my work. But, don't forget, if someone says, "Oh, you can see that you didn't get all the way to the point there," you'll just say, "I unfriend you. It is not worth it. That person is not your friend. They're not even trying. They're not even trying to be your friend." Okay? All right. So that is the fill for the egg, which we had to redo. So those of you that are like, "Didn't you do this last week?" Yes, I did. But we had to do it over. And I won't say that that's my best work on the back there. Not necessarily saying that that's great looking, because I don't think it is. Let's take a look at what the other one looked like. Oh, it was just as bad. So like the back of the work, not great. Front of the work, bueno. So I think I will consider that a win. All right, so now we're going to change out again to the brown. I'm going to use the smallest piece first. No, you know what? I'm not. I'm going to use the bigger piece. And we're going to try to get... See, this is where we started 49 minutes ago. And we had to back up, right? So like that's what happens, my friends. Like, mistakes happen, and that's what happened here. I'm just gonna breathe and pretend like it did not happen, because look, we're back at the beginning, right where we were 40 minutes ago. Okay, so we're back to making these double crosses. I will say I think that the weave is a more fun stitch to do. I mean, it is more fun than this one, than the double cross. The double cross is just kind of like, you know, it's a neat stitch, but this one is the one we all think of with chicken scratch, right? Um, I will say that when I talked to my husband about this the other night, he was like, "What kind of embroidery?" And I'm like, "Chicken scratch." And he's like, "Why do they call it that?" And I had to think about it for a minute. I honestly, I don't know. So that's a really good thing for me to research, right? But I don't know why they call it chicken scratch. Um, and I tried to, say, well, probably it's because of the straight lines. You're really only ever really working with straight lines. And so it feels like, if a chicken was scratching at the dirt, it would just be little straight lines. I don't know. But I will look it up because that kind of history does interest me, like the why we call things what we call them and all of that. That does fascinate me to a certain extent. So, you know, and then, again, to remind you, these stitches uh you don't really want to pull on them too much. If you overly pull, you'll get like puckers in the fabric. And so, yes, the hoop is keeping things somewhat taut, but once it's released from that, it will still look funny if you don't, if you pull too hard. Okay. So, now here is where we are in the map. And now we have to jump up here. We're going across one, and then we're doing 4 up. This was where I realized I didn't have enough room. So, um we've now fixed that part, but oh boy. And I could have pulled this out all week long and worked on it, but as you all know, this week has been kind of weird. So I didn't. And I'm writing patterns and a book at the same time. And I have to say, that has been a tremendous amount of work, mentally and somewhat physically too, because some of these samples are just a lot of work and it's wearing me out. So, and we're getting ready to start work on the upstairs and do some of this beginning of the work up there. And oh man, it's daunting. It's daunting. I'm excited but daunted. All right, so now we've got 4 of these double crosses to make to go up the edge here, which is very exciting. And I just want to make sure I didn't pull on anything back here, which does not look like I did. There we go. And so yeah, it's been a fun to see people in the store. We've had some visitors. It is a lot, Mary. I'm telling you. Like we're just wore out. Wore out. And then like we have so much product coming in. Um I have to say, like, I am so excited about this new line that we're getting in December. It is called William and Morris. It's a William Morris crossover with K Facet. And if you like William Morris and you like bright colors, like imagine William Morris meets Lisa Frank. It's kind of like the best analogy for that. Yes, I know, Mary. Like, oh my God. Like, work upstairs. Hoo boy. Very excited. Lot to do, but very excited. The second floor is we're almost getting ready. William Morris, day and the time. No. Dun, 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 dun. Jungle Love, right? William Morris. Yeah, he's poor William Morris. He's dead. I not that I know. I don't think Morris Day is dead, but William Morris long dead. But working upstairs, we're getting ready. And yeah, it's gonna be exciting. A lot going on. Busy. We're gonna do some of this demolition that we have to do by ourselves. We don't need to hire that part out. Right? I can do a fair amount of that on my own. But you know. All right, so here is where I'm gonna stop for the night. I am gonna work on this over the next week. So it will have some progress done. And I'm hoping that I can show you some of these alternate stitches, which this sampler does not teach. And from what I can gather from the interwebs, these stitches are not terribly hard. I mean, it's very easy to see how they're made now that I know like the basic stitches in chicken scratch embroidery. So I'm going to take a look at where in this embroidery I can alternate the new directions. So more than likely, where's my drawing? Here it is. More than likely, it's going to be in this area where I'll add the additional stitches because they're longer. So they'll have like some length to maybe even look like feathers. So I can do them here on the tail feathers and here on the wing. And I think that will be a nice way to upgrade this pretty basic sampler, because really the picture doesn't, it's just two stitches, the double cross and then that God's eye wrap version. So this is where we're at. 2 days of work and we're back to square one, but that's what happens, right? This is what happens when you just decide to half read the directions. I'm not gonna lie, that's exactly what I did, and I paid for it. So I will take that L, as my kid says. Got to take that L. I'm taking that L. My loss. My L. Don't forget, we got a big sale going on. Head on over to shop.muppin.com. Go to the sale page. You'll see everything that's on 35% off. Maybe you'll see something there. Right? It is what it is. We're back. We're chicken scratching. And I think by next week we'll have the ability to put in some really good stitches and really kind of get it together. My friends, I hope you get some sewing done this weekend. Yay! And I hope that you have a wonderful weekend. Stay safe, take care of yourselves. Some self-care this weekend for those of you feeling a little tender, and I understand. Um uh uh Take care of yourselves. I'll see you next week. Take care. Bye-bye.